calling for serious divestment. I've been in conversation with the Interfaith Center for Corporate Responsibility, and you probably know their position. I bring it out in this form because I really would love to hear your public response to this. And in particular, the contention that the approach, such as the South African divestment, we're beyond that at this point. I just want to read a quick email from my friend from ICCR. In its call for divestment from fossil fuel companies, the 350.org campaign cites the part that I'll go on. Moreover, many investors believe that the stock market has dramatically changed since then, with many more global buyers in the stock market, including mutual funds, hedge funds, large institutional investors, and individual investors. As a result, many active, engaged, socially responsible investors believe that the fossil fuel companies would actually prefer for them to divest, that they would no longer be at the table.
Yep.
So can you please speak to that?
Sure.
Because that's
Sure.
huge for us.
No, it's very good. I should have talked about the role of faith communities to begin with in this divestment. And it's been exciting to watch how quickly it's spreading. The United Church of Christ will vote this summer on whether to divest. The number of Quaker statewide groups already have. The biggest news came last week when the Uniting Church of Australia, the largest Protestant denomination in Australia, voted to divest. Now, the argument, there's always been a kind of institutionalized and professionalized sort of shareholder activism thing. This is ICCR, you know. And they don't like this kind of stuff necessarily, because they're very used to this model where they work with companies to try to make it better, which is a good model, very good model. It works really well when there's a flaw in the business plan that we've got to fix. Okay, so if Apple isn't paying its Chinese laborers enough money, it doesn't mean that we have to hate iPhones and get rid of them. It means that we have to use shareholder resolutions and proxy fights and whatever else to try and persuade them to pay a reasonable wage, and that's what we're able to do. And most of the time, that's what we want to do. But there are times when the flaw is the business plan, okay? And that's the problem in this case. There's no way at the moment to sit down and, at the table with Exxon and persuade them to get out of the fossil fuel business. They made $55 billion in profit last year doing what they're doing, okay? And they will keep doing it, and they will, more to the point, keep spending the money to make sure that they're always able to do it by corrupting our political process. The largest campaign donation post-Citizens United came 2 weeks before the last election from Chevron, and it was designed to make sure that the House of Representatives stayed in the hands of climate deniers, and it was successful. And so in those cases, we don't divest in order to bankrupt Exxon. We're not probably going to be able to do that, at least in the short run. We do it for a number of reasons, but most of them are tactical, to try and take away their social license, so they're no longer able to dominate our political process in the same way we do them what we did in the tobacco industry, And people made exactly the same argument like around South Africa, 25 years ago. They said, oh, well, we should keep engaged and it'll help black South Africans because, they'll have a better, we'll do something to make them. It was Nelson Mandela and Desmond Tutu who said, no way. We need you, this thing is evil, and we need you to disengage with it and take that power and use it that way. And they turned out to be right, both morally and practically. And I think in this case, people like Tutu are right again. It's also just worth saying, quite aside from all the strategic and tactical and everything else, if it's wrong to wreck the climate, then it's wrong to profit from wrecking the climate. it's just not all right to be in that business. And that's why it's so good. Now, when I was at Riverside, it was fun. It was interesting. Riverside this morning, because it's a very liberal and progressive church. Maybe the kind of, one of the kind of bulwarks of liberal Christianity. But it's also a church built by John D. Rockefeller, the greatest oil baron of all time. And it's really powerful to be there. And they're in active consideration of divesting their $10 million in fossil fuel stock, which would be a really big deal coming out of that church and that place. So, we love the people who have sort of done this professionally for a long time. We like to work with them. But for my money, it's really good to see young people saying, you know what, it's not really getting the job done in the time that we have. It's not happening. And so we're going to try something else, and we're going to push a little harder. And I just think pushing is what we got to do now. The time for kind of absolute politeness is over, even in church, where we have too strong a tendency to be a little too polite.
Amen!
Thank you all.
By standing up, you signed a photo release.
Bill and I have done this 3 times now.
Yes.
Benaroya Hall here, and when we kicked off the fight up at Bellingham. And it's, yeah. See, I'll get one right up here.